going on, YouTube? It's your boy Sam from Team Samurai X1 here, and today I'm with a top locals, top 8, right now, currently. X1, you're X1 right now. What deck are you playing today, brother?
I am playing MADOLCHE.
MADOLCHE?
Yeah.
Okay, for the 2020 format.
Yes, I am.
How are you feeling about this deck so far?
I feel like this deck is it's a lot more consistent than what people make it out to be. You do have ways to play around hand traps, and people aren't considering it, and it's also getting more support. It's getting a negation in eternity code,
right?
And that's absolutely ridiculous because it's going to play on the same level as Salmon Grade.
Okay.
Well, like I'm running some cards in here that I may not want to run because like I was rushing because of the ban list on Monday.
Right.
Yeah. So there are a few cards in here that I might be taking out for the new MADOLCHE support because you want to run this as a 40 card deck, no matter what.
Right, exactly. So is this deck designed to go first or go second?
You can play either or.
Okay, that's really awesome. Okay.
But you preferably want to go first.
Okay.
I will show you why.
Start with the monsters?
Yep. So we're running 3 copies of MADOLCHE MADOLCHE.
Okay.
So this card is, everyone knows, it's just your basic combo starter. It's like your Stratos. Just search one from the deck to the hand. You have to run 3 of course. Next up, we're running 3 copies of MADOLCHE and Jelly. This, in my opinion, is just the best starter because this can play in any scenario. So a lot of issues with MADOLCHE is that if you have cards in your graveyard, sometimes you can't make plays, and sometimes if you have like no monsters in your graveyard, you also can't make plays. So this card can just play either or because it's a lone fire for the deck. You distribute it and then summon any MADOLCHE from your deck, and even if the combo stops there, it can't be destroyed by battle. So it's just such a good card. And then this is what makes the deck, in my opinion, also playable because MADOLCHE Pings a Sword, you should run 3 ofs.
So what does this card do?
When there's no monsters in your graveyard, you can just get a free special summon. It just summons itself out without any cost or whatever. And then when this card is special summoned, you can then special summon another MADOLCHE from your deck with its level decreased by 1. Which I will show you how this card just makes some really insane combos.
Right.
And then I also run 3 MADOLCHE Hookig. There's a lot of debate on this card. Some people like to run this at 2 and 3. I think 3 is just the most optimal because the biggest issue with this deck is if you don't see monsters. If you see one monster, you got full combo. But if you don't see any, then you obviously can't do anything.
Right.
And then we run 2 MADOLCHE Messenger Lotto. Most people will agree that this is one you run at 2 because it just searches your MADOLCHE Spell and Trap card, but if it's in your hand, it's a brick. It's basically your Garnet of the deck.
Cool.
And then you run your 1 MADOLCHE Pudding Cess. This card is also a Garnet, but it makes, like, this card will basically make all your combos, and there's a reason because there's another card that really depends on this card to make plays. When a MADOLCHE is added to your hand or shuffled into your deck, you can then add a MADOLCHE from your deck to your hand. And if you control fairy type monster, which there's so many in the deck, you just special summon the target.
Only 1 copy of a ticket?
Only 1 copy because it's also a brick. You really don't want to run into too many copies of ticket because it's searchable. Like if you run into any MADOLCHE monster in your deck, you're gonna get ticket first turn, no matter what.
Right.
And then you run 2 copies of Chateau. This card is, people like to debate on this card, like to run it at 1 or 2. I run it at 2 because there are times where my opponent will, like, they manage to board bomb me, and then I have monsters in my graveyard, and then, for example, the MADOLCHE Petting Sword here, it cannot activate if you have monsters in the graveyard. So you just activate Chateau, and then on activation, it shuffles all MADOLCHEs in your graveyard back to your deck, and then you can then resolve your Sword for a free special summon. Right. It lets you play around hand traps too, because if this gets negated, you can just go into another MADOLCHE and make your combo.
Right, cool.
And then for we don't like hand traps. This deck dies to hand traps. Triple Call by the Grave.
Right.
Because like you can play through hand traps, but preferably your opponent drops Ash on you. If you have 1 monster in your hand, you're gonna pass your turn right off the bat. And then this is some spice we're playing. We're playing 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice.
Okay, so why 3 copies of this card?
So this card's basically just an extra impermanence for you. So if you go first, you set this card, and then you got a free monster negate on board. And then if you go second, and your opponent like against heroes, which are so relevant in this meta currently, you just drop Forbidden Chalice on the Dark Claw or the Plasma, and then you just go on with your combo.
Right.
Run triple Twin Twister.
3 copies, absolutely mandatory?
Yeah, absolutely mandatory because we're playing 3 Hookig, and then Hookig can summon 1 from the deck by banishing 1 monster in your graveyard. So if you have no monster graveyard first turn, it's obviously a brick, so you use the Twin Twister to just like unbrick your hand by sending a monster in your graveyard, and then you can go off with your combo.
Nice.
3 Cosmic Cyclone as well.
So more back row hit.
Yeah, because like this current meta is just so much back row. Like Trap Tricks, there's Alter Guys, Subterra Guru. It's just so many back row decks you have to play around. You really just want a lot. But I'm debating on this card right now because
Lightning Storm?
yeah, Lightning Storm is so relevant, but at the same time, MADOLCHEs are getting a new card in the Eternity Code, Promenade, which is just a free negate from deck. You just set it to your field, and then it can negate any spell trap or monster effect, and then shuffle a MADOLCHE back to your deck, and then you get a free special summon from deck.
That's insane.
So, like, I'm really debating on taking these out.
So the deck is definitely going to change once Eternity Code comes.
Yeah, definitely. Once Eternity Code comes, I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot of people maining this deck. This deck's going to be so powerful.
Nice.
One MADOLCHE Knights. This is another spice that you never see people run.
What does this do?
So, if you control no monsters in your graveyard, which on your first turn you practically have none, you negate the activation of a monster effect, and then if you control a MADOLCHE Pudding Cess, which we get one on board, you shuffle one card in your opponent's hand back into the deck. So, it just, like, free monster negate, and then just rip a card out of your opponent's hand. It's just, it's so good.
Nice.
And then we run 3 evenly matched.
Damn.
Yeah. Like this card, a lot of people question me on this. It's because you really don't like back row decks, you really don't like monster boards, and you just, if you go second, you drop this card, and then you board wipe them, and if you go first, your MADOLCHE combo all relies off one card, and you already can make negates without the necessity of using these cards. So you just go in free MADOLCHE combo if you draw these, and if you go second, you actually use them.
Right.
And then, just like we play 3 for Binge House, we play 3 Infinite Impermanence. This card is amazing in this deck. It makes the deck even like better because, for example, in MADOLCHE Cestor, when you drop cards like Ash Blossom, for example, like you saw before, I was not running any Ash Blossoms in the deck because if you drop Ash Blossom and you have Cestor in the hand, Cestor can no longer resolve. So Impermanence, just being able to activate it and negate a monster effect, and then still have Cestor to access is just so good.
Cool.
And then we can play first or second, but preferably we like to go first, so we play triple strike. Pretty self-explanatory, it just hits a monster, it's so good if you draw into it. And then we run a Solemn Warning.
One Solemn Warning, would you bump this card up to 3?
I'm considering bumping this up after seeing the ban list. I need to get my copies, but for now I'm running it at 1, and I was running at 1 with 3 strikes in the previous ban list.
Awesome.
And that's it for the main deck.
Let's go up to your extra deck.
Yeah, as for my extra deck, I am running, so, first of all, I do have a Super Poly, which I will get to, so I'm 2 Super Poly targets, the Starving Venom and the Predaplant Ophirus, or no, the Dragostopelia, yeah. So, I'm honestly considering taking these out. I was putting these in because of the Orcus decks and the Thunder Dragons in the previous meta, and honestly I don't think they're too relevant anymore, but at the same time I'm considering keeping them in because, you know, Orcus is not completely dead. Like, there are still a few players running around with it, and Harpour doesn't make the deck completely unplayable, so
cool.
I'm considering it. You won 3 MADOLCHE Glass Souffle.
Okay, so what does this card do? Is this card the best card in your deck?
This card is so good in this format because so many graveyard dependent decks, and this card, detach a MADOLCHE to make 1 MADOLCHE on the field unaffected by monster effects, so they can't Dingirsu you, and previously they couldn't Stalio you either, so it's so funny, like them trying to like drop Stalio to target one of yours, and then you just drop this on them and they don't do anything. And then its secondary effect, you can then spin 2 cards in either graveyard back into the deck. So you can either get your combos off, or you can send the Spinny and the Gazelle in their graveyard back to deck, and then they just look at you like, I can't make plays anymore.
Right, cool.
Then we run 2 Queen Tiramisu. What this deck is known for is just your own Dingirsu, but non-summon, but it shuffles 2 cards in your graveyard back to the deck, which it targets, but then it shuffles 2 cards your opponent controls back into their deck.
So that doesn't target.
And it doesn't target, so it's really good for just board wiping your opponent and also facilitating your own combos, because it does shuffle your cards as well.
Nice.
We run 2 MADOLCHE Pudding Cess Chocolate mode.
Okay, so what does this card do?
You honestly could bump this up to 3. This card is really good. Basically, you rank this on top of your MADOLCHE monsters, and then you can shuffle 1 MADOLCHE in your graveyard back into the deck to facilitate your combos. But what's really dangerous is that if Pudding Cess is under this card as Xyz material, you can then detach 1 to special summon a MADOLCHE from your deck.
That's really
and
good.
the effect is not once per turn.
Wow.
You can just keep doing it over and over again. You
Nice.
just loop it. And then, because we don't like Nibiru either, we run an Appaloosa.
Nice.
Yeah, like this deck summons a lot of monsters, you can make this easily. Run a Saruja, because we see a lot of back row cards, so we take out the MADOLCHEs, and then, because if you open any MADOLCHE in your starting hand, you're going to be getting every single MADOLCHE in your deck on board first turn. So everything that's left in your deck is going to be all your spell and trap cards. So you get all your MADOLCHEs out, and then you link them for Saruja, and then you draw into your permanences, your strikes and everything, and then you just set everything, and then you continue your MADOLCHE combo.
Right, really good.
And then we run 2 Nightmare Phoenix.
Yep.
Because
wow, 2 copies.
Yeah, two copies.
You hate back row, huh?
Really hate back row. It's so annoying. Like there can only be one summon limit. Like too many stuff that hurts this deck. You really like to summon. If you can summon,
you win.
You're fine. Yeah, you're good. It doesn't matter if they have negates on board. If you can summon, you're good.
Yes.
And then run 2 copies of MADOLCHE Sistar. What this card does is it protects your back row. So if you control a MADOLCHE in either one of its zones, you can then make all your back row in our MADOLCHE and spells and traps immune to targeting or destruction by card play. And then if this card to be destroyed as a Colossus, you shuffle 1 engrave back to deck, negate destruction. And it doesn't start a chain. That's it for the extra deck.
Let's go to your side deck real quick.
Yep. For the side deck, another super poly target, Diplexer, because Salamangreats, which is a good target. I was running the Violet Chimera, but it requires you to have a Link monster and a Cybers. But for this card, just 2 Cybers monsters, so just clear it off the board, and then you contribute it to stun the Rage or Roar, or bait it out. So it gets so much better. And then because dinosaurs are still a thing, we Lancia.
Also really good at heroes.
Yeah, also good against heroes. Like you drop this against heroes, and then they can't use Malicious, and then you can use your Glass Souffle. And what Glass Souffle does is that it shuffles any monster back into your deck. And then when Chateau, what was it? Chateau's effect is any monster that's sent back to your deck, you can add back to your hand. So you can just loot the Lancia off the Glass Souffle.
Nice.
And then, because we don't like other combo decks either, we'd run 2 Nibiru.
Cool.
You don't want to see this too often, but yeah, it's a good card because you can also use Glass Souffle, make itself unaffected, and then you drop Nibiru, and then Glass Souffle stays on board. So you keep your DD Crow, and then you also have a Nibiru that just board wipes them. 1 red reboot. It hurts having this to 1. Like I would love to have this back at 3.
Right.
It really hurts, but you still run 1. It's pretty good, just on the back row. And then Super Polys, 3 Super Polys. So I shoot my targets. It's pretty obvious. You just don't like the Thunder Dragons, don't like Orcust, and you don't like Salamangreats. This is a new one I put in recently, a Trunade. So yeah, I really hate back row. It just stuns. You activate this, you send everything back, and then they either have to chain it. So I went against an Altergeist player who I dropped this on, and then he chained Spoofing and chained Protocol, so they remain face up. He searched the Multi-Faker, to which I strike the Multi-Faker when he attempted to activate it, and then he just had a Spoofing on board, which it was just a dead card. He had nothing else to use. So I just went into my full combo and I killed him in a turn.
Right.
And then for Orcust and Cyber Dragons, we ran 3 copies of System Down.
Still?
Yeah, 3 System Down. I think it's still pretty good card because Orcust, they can still make plays, and Cyber Dragons, we are seeing a lot more players playing it. Like I've seen a lot of people playing Cyber Dragon Orcust. I've seen people play Scrap Orcust, and I feel like this is something you should just keep in just handy because you can modify the side deck a lot.
Nice.
If you open up a MADOLCHE and Jelly, or a MADOLCHE Sessor, or you open a MADOLCHE Hookcake with a means to send a monster to the graveyard, you get full combo, which I will just demonstrate right now. So let's say Magdalene is your starting hand. You normal the Magdalene.
Right.
The Magdalene will switch you to Sessor. You activate it to special. It specials you another from deck. So you special your Jelly, affect a tribute, summon your Hookcake. It's unaffected. No, it can't be destroyed by battle.
Yep.
Use its effect to banish off the Angeli, and then it summons you another MADOLCHE from your deck, which will you summon your MADOLCHE Messengelato.
Yep.
So I expect. And then Messengelato, search your ticket. So this is all off 1 card, so you still have like 4 cards in your hand that could be a strike, an impermanence, whatever you want. And then you overlay 2 4s to make your Glass Souffle. And then from here, you use your Glass Souffle, attaching 1. Either or, you really just want to attach Messengelato because sometimes you brick into this card.
Right.
So you run 2 ups in the deck, so if you run to 1, you have another one. Send it back to deck. Triggering your ticket now because there's a fairy on board, you special summon it, and then it searches you the MADOLCHE Knight, and then you have no monster in the graveyard, you got a free negate on board and a DD Crow. And And then if your opponent has no cards in hand and you're for sure you can push for game, there's another combo you can do. And this is the one that this deck is known for. So you normally your Magdalene, this searches you your Cestor, and then instead of summoning the Jelly this time, you will summon your MADOLCHE Pudding Cess. And its effect will reduce its level by 1, so it's level 4 now. So you overlay 2 4s. You'll make the Glass Souffle again. Activate your Glass Souffle, detach 1. So now make this unaffected by monster effects. It doesn't matter because what you're going to be doing immediately is you're going to be ranking it up into your Chocolate Owl mode. And this is what I mean by this one card you want to play in the deck, because if this card is under Ala mode, you can target one in the graveyard, shuffle back to deck, and then every time one goes to deck, attach to summon one from deck. So just summon a Jelly from your deck, and effect a Tribute, summon Hoot Cake, effect to banish one, summon another one from your deck, effect to search Chateau.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of combos. So search the field spell, we're gonna activate it, and then shuffle the Jelly in the graveyard back to deck. Triggering again, because it is not once per turn, it's ridiculous, and then you just summon your MADOLCHE Messenger Leto again. This effect will search your ticket. You will then proceed to link these two away. You'll make the MADOLCHE Sistart. 2 4s into a Queen Tiramisu. So now that Queen Tiramisu requires at least 2 MADOLCHE cards in the graveyard because it requires you to target 2 in your graveyard initially.
Right.
So now it's live because you send materials. You detach 1. You send these 2 back to your deck. Chateau will put them back in your hand. So now you have 6 cards in your hand. You send 2 cards your opponent controls back to the deck. And then ticket triggers, you summon 1 from your deck. And then you just 2 4s again into another Queen. And then Queen just does the same thing again. You just send 2 back. So now another card in your hand. So now you have 7 cards in your hand. And your opponent lost 4 cards. And then you rank up the Pudding Cess. And then you rank up into another Pudding Cess. And then that's 8K right there. 3K, 3K, 2K.
3K, 3K, 2K?
Yeah.
And you bounce 4 cards back to their hand?
4 cards, and you recycle, and you end off gaining your starter back, and then 2 more cards. That was a 1 card combo, and you gain 2 cards off. If you open up with Magdalene, you get Magdalene back, and you get 2 more MADOLCHEs.
Wow.
And
So-
you don't have to use any cards in your hand.
So it's 1 card OTK?
1 card OTK.
Wow.
And you get the card back, so you can do it again next turn.
That's crazy. You have anything else you want to say before we end out this video?
Yeah, shout out to my home store, GameSwap, at Birchmount and Ellesmere. Yeah.
Cool. All right, bro. Thank you so much for this deck profile. Good luck in top 8. Let's do it, bro. Peace.